wristband?
Yeah, there was a miscommunication early.
I think they mentioned that you guys had the wrong plays in the wristband on the first two drives. Is that accurate?
No. Yeah. There was something. I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was, but there was we got that fixed pretty quickly.
I thought it was going to be impossible to have him have a game like he did yesterday, and the prevailing thought afterwards wasn't going to be anything but Stefanski's awesome. Wow, look at the work that he did. Yep. I didn't know that we could have this type of moment, and because because we've been talking about it for months. What was going to make me the most angry through all of this was them trying to take credit for Shedeur being good at football. He's always been good at football. Okay, there's nothing Stefanski did in 3 weeks that made the light bulb go on. Okay, and I was getting ready to be angry about it all, but the way yesterday went down, that's not the conversation at all.
Kevin Stefanski just accidentally exposed his secret agenda against Shedeur Sanders in a post-game press conference after the Browns' historic 31-3 loss to the Chicago Bears. And what he said about the mysterious wristband malfunction, combined with his refusal to answer whether it was a mistake to not start Shedeur earlier, reveals a pattern of sabotage that has fans and analysts calling for his immediate firing. The disaster started when Shedeur sprinted to the sideline during the first quarter because his wristband had the wrong plays loaded, resulting in a delay of game penalty. And when reporters asked Stefanski if they had the wrong plays in the wristband, he gave a vague answer about miscommunication and something getting on it before claiming they fixed it pretty quickly. But Shedeur told a completely different story, saying the card just fell out, exposing that either the coaching staff is lying or they genuinely sent their rookie quarterback onto the field unprepared. But here's where Stefanski's agenda gets exposed. When directly asked if it was a mistake to not start Shedeur earlier in the season after he's shown flashes of brilliance, Stefanski refused to answer, saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to get into that." And combined with reports that owner Jimmy Haslam is still undecided about Stefanski's future, while fans flood social media with "Fire Kevin Stefanski today" and accusations of top-tier sabotage, it's clear this coach has been protecting his own reputation by setting up Shedeur to fail rather than giving him the support a fifth-round rookie QB desperately needs to succeed.
And what about the interceptions? Obviously, the second one was not Shedeur's fault, but the other two looked like he just kind of made some poor decisions there.
Yeah, I'd rather look at it, Mary Kay, to give you a more informed answer. We know that team is good at taking the ball away, particularly intercepting the ball, so we'll learn from those.
And what about the one that did get ripped out of Jerry Jeudy's hands? And what can you say about that?
Yeah, obviously we're trying to make a play there. In that moment, trying to get on the board, their guy made a good play.
Kevin Stefanski's got to be fired. Such an idiot, mismanaging what would have been a fantastic comeback from Shedeur Sanders. Almost 400 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had a fantastic game, but he leads a scoring drive down 14 to score with about 4 minutes and some change left. You should kick the field goal to make it a 7-point game, but Ken Stefanski is the smartest guy in the room, goes for 2, doesn't work out. Then it's a 3 and out. Then the Browns get the ball again. Then Shedeur scores another touchdown drive, right? You should be kicking the field goal to tie this thing up, get ready for overtime, but you got to go for 2. Another disastrous play call. Doesn't work out. Browns lose by 2. Kevin Stefanski's got to go, man. This guy, whether it's intentional or not, this guy's always putting the Browns at a disadvantage. Shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the video. DTB, use that code, get a $10 bonus when you deposit 10, and hey, maybe put a little bit on Shedeur and the Browns getting upset over the Bears next week.
Look, y'all need to understand what just happened in Chicago, because on the surface, it looks like the Browns just had another bad game and a terrible season. But when you actually pay attention to what Kevin Stefanski said in that press conference, and more importantly, what he didn't say, you start to see a pattern that's been building all season long, and it's not pretty. Let me take you back to the beginning of this game. First quarter. Shedeur Sanders is trying to get the offense going, and suddenly there's complete chaos. Shedeur's looking at his wristband, clearly confused. He sprints to the sideline to get the play directly from Kevin Stefanski, and what happens? Delay of game penalty. Then they have to swap out his wristband entirely. The Fox broadcast booth was puzzled, fans watching at home were confused, and everyone was asking the same question. What the hell just happened? So after the game, reporters asked Stefanski point blank, "I think they mentioned that you guys had the wrong plays in the wristband on the first 2 drives. Is that accurate?" And Stefanski's answer, "Yeah, there was something. I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was, but we got that fixed pretty quickly." I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was. Y'all, this is the head coach of an NFL team, and he doesn't know what happened with his quarterback's wristband? He's giving vague answers about something getting on it, like he spilled coffee on the play sheet. That's the explanation?
What, on TV, they mentioned that something happened with your wristband after the first 2 drives.
Oh, no, the car just fell out. Yeah, it just fell out on the sideline. Yeah, that was it.
Shedeur, this is just your 4th start, but to have the ups and downs of having 4 touchdowns last week and 3 picks, how
Yeah.
can you handle that and kind of process and move on?
Well, yeah, I'm the same person, regardless. So I still got the same belief, in myself, and I definitely, like it is every week. You got to get out there, learn from it, play better.
But here's where it gets interesting. When Shedeur was asked the same question, he gave a completely different answer. A reporter asks about the wristband, and Shedeur says, "Oh no, the card just fell out. Yeah, it just fell out on the sideline. Yeah, that was it. The card just fell out." So which is it? Did something get on it, like Stefanski said, or did the card just fall out, like Shedeur said? Because those are 2 very different explanations for what happened. And here's why this matters. This wasn't just some minor hiccup. This was the first quarter of a crucial game. Shedeur is making just his 4th career start. He's trying to prove he can be the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and his own coaching staff sends him onto the field with either the wrong plays or a malfunctioning wristband. That's not preparation, that's sabotage. But the wristband fiasco was just the beginning of how Kevin Stefanski exposed his agenda in this press conference. Because when reporters started asking about Shedeur's performance, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks, 177 yards on 18 completions, Stefanski's answers revealed so much about how he really views this situation. A reporter asks about the interceptions, and Stefanski says, "Yeah, I'd rather look at it, Mary Kay, to give you a more informed answer. We know that team is good at taking the ball away, particularly intercepting the ball, so we'll learn from those. I'd rather look at it to give you a more informed answer." Okay, so Stefanski can't even give specifics about what went wrong with the interceptions immediately after the game. He needs to watch film first. That's fine, except he had no problem immediately defending one of the picks by saying their guy made a good play when asked about the ball getting ripped out of Jerry Jeudy's hands.
Yeah, I'm obviously thinking about just this game and those type of things. He's a young player that is making progress, like we've talked about all week, and I see it in games. I get to see it in practice. There's going to be ups and downs to young players, in particular quarterback position. So we'll learn from it, and we'll be better next week.
So he can immediately defend that interception, but he can't talk about the other 2? Interesting. Then a reporter asks the question that every Browns fan has been wanting answered. "I know you have told us that Shedeur is the starter for the last 4 games this season. That still holds?" And Stefanski gives the shortest answer of the entire press conference. Yes. Yes. No elaboration. No, absolutely, he's our guy. No, we have full confidence in him. Just yes, yes. Like he's being forced to confirm something he doesn't actually believe. But then another reporter asks about Shedeur's development considering all the obstacles he's faced, offensive line injuries, lack of weapons, David Njoku being out, and Stefanski says, "Yeah, I'm obviously thinking about just this game and those type of things. He's a young player that is making progress like we've talked about all week, and I see it in games, I get to see it in practice. There's going to be ups and downs to young players, particularly the quarterback position. So we'll learn from it and we'll be better next week. There's going to be ups and downs to young players." On the surface, that sounds reasonable, but listen to what Stefanski is really saying. He's framing Shedeur's struggles as inevitable ups and downs of a young player, while completely ignoring the fact that he created many of those struggles by not starting Shedeur earlier, by not giving him first-team reps in training camp, by sending him onto the field with a malfunctioning wristband. And when a reporter points out that the Bears' defense is good at takeaways and asks if Stefanski talked to Shedeur about the ups and downs, going from 364 yards and 4 touchdowns last week to 3 interceptions this week, Stefanski says, "Oh yeah, I mean, sure. You talk to your quarterback a lot about the opponent you're facing, what they're good at, things they're going to try to take away, but at the end of the day, you just have to focus on your development in each one of these games. And he's fighting like crazy to try to help us win."
Getting them 2 scores early and then 3 in the third. Did it drastically change what they were able to do on defense? Kind of limited you guys on offense.
I would give them credit. Obviously, they did a great job, but we have to execute better in some areas.
You talk about the ups and downs, and obviously that's the best takeaway defense in the NFL. Did you talk to Sanders about just 364 yards last week, turnovers this week, that up and down?
Particularly to their takeaways, you're saying?
He's fighting like crazy to try to help us win. That's the most genuine thing Stefanski said about Shedeur in the entire press conference. And even that sounds like he's surprised by it, like he didn't expect Shedeur to actually be fighting for wins. But here's where Kevin Stefanski really exposed his agenda. Not in this press conference, but in one that happened earlier in the week, because reporter Ashley Holder asked Stefanski a direct question that every Browns fan has been screaming about. Was it a mistake to not start Shedeur earlier in the season? And Stefanski's response? Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. Y'all, that is not the response of a head coach who made the right decision. If Stefanski genuinely believed that waiting to start Shedeur was the correct move, he would have defended it. He would have explained his reasoning. He would have said, no, Shedeur wasn't ready, or we needed to evaluate other options first, or something. But instead, he completely dodged the question because he knows he screwed up. He knows he wasted valuable development time for a rookie quarterback who clearly has franchise potential, and he doesn't want to admit it because it makes him look bad. And that's what this is really about. Kevin Stefanski isn't trying to develop Shedeur Sanders. He's trying to protect his own reputation. Because if Shedeur succeeds despite being a 5th-round pick that Stefanski buried on the depth chart, it proves that Stefanski's evaluation was wrong. It proves that he wasted half a season starting other quarterbacks when he had a potential franchise guy sitting on the bench.
He's fighting like crazy to try to help us win. Obviously, we came up short. All of us, we came up short. So you learn from it and you apply those lessons in the future.
It seems like they moved Caleb Williams around and moved the pocket to try to neutralize your pass rush. What did you think what they would do there? And what kind of pressure does Caleb put on a defense when he's out of the pocket?
Yeah, well, we knew all week going into this one that he's as elusive as anybody is in the league. Obviously, they have designed plays for him to get outside the pocket. And then he has ways to off structure get outside the pocket. The touchdown pass that he made.
But if Shedeur struggles, well, then Stefanski can say, see, I told you he wasn't ready. That's why I didn't start him earlier. He gets to be right either way. That's the agenda. That's the sabotage. And that wristband malfunction, that's just the most obvious example of how Stefanski is setting Shedeur up to fail. Now, let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes, because this situation is way bigger than just one game or one wristband issue. According to ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo, owner Jimmy Haslam is still undecided about whether Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry will return next season. Rizzo says Haslam has not made up his mind yet, and that the organization can make arguments for both ways. Translation: Stefanski's job is not safe, and he knows it. So what does a coach do when his job is on the line? He tries to control the narrative. He tries to make sure that if things go wrong, it's not his fault. And the easiest way to do that? Blame the rookie quarterback. Think about the pattern here. Stefanski started the season with Joe Flacco. Then he traded Flacco and started Dylan Gabriel. Gabriel got a concussion, so Shedeur came in cold against the Ravens with 0 first-team reps and looked terrible, 4 for 16 for 47 yards and an interception. And Stefanski could say, see, he's not ready. Then Shedeur got a few starts and showed flashes: 722 passing yards and 5 touchdowns in 3 games, the most among all rookie quarterbacks in that span. He joined Joe Burrow as the only player to record at least 350 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes, and a rushing touchdown in a single game as a rookie.
You know what league we in? Yeah, you can lose your job at any point in time. So you don't play with fear. When you live and play in fear, then you'll never be yourself. So I don't play or live in fear. Whatever situation I'm in. Whatever happens, it happens. But I live each moment and try to live each day to the fullest. So never live in worry or fear.
But instead of celebrating that progress, what does Stefanski do? He pulls Shedeur during a crucial 2-point conversion attempt against the Titans and runs a wildcat formation that fails. Then, the very next week against the Bears, Shedeur starts the game with a malfunctioning wristband that leads to a delay of game penalty. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. And fans are noticing. Social media exploded after the Bears' loss with calls to fire Kevin Stefanski today. One fan wrote, "Shedeur Sanders is being sacked by his own coaching staff. Not only is Stefanski sabotaging Sanders, he's ensuring his coaching career should be over." Another fan responded directly to Stefanski's refusal to answer whether it was a mistake to not start Shedeur earlier. Why, Kevin? You had no problem telling everyone that Shedeur wasn't ready to play when you started Dylan, which clearly wasn't true. The fans see it, the media sees it, and now with Stefanski's vague, deflecting answers in this press conference, everyone can see the agenda. But here's what makes this whole situation even more heartbreaking. Shedeur Sanders is handling it with more maturity and professionalism than his own head coach. When a reporter asks Shedeur how he feels, knowing that Kevin Stefanski is sticking with him as the starter for the rest of the season, Shedeur gives the most honest answer you'll ever hear from an NFL player. "Yeah, well, he said that kind of last week, so I don't know. I don't know."
What on TV they mentioned that something happened with your wristband after the first 2 drives.
Oh no, the car just fell out. Yeah, it just fell out on the sideline. Yeah, that was it.
Shedeur, this is just your 4th start, but to have the ups and downs of having 4 touchdowns last week and 3 picks, how
Yeah.
can you handle that and kind of process and move on?
Well, yeah, I'm the same person, regardless. So I still got the same belief, in myself, and I definitely, like it is every week. You got to get out there, learn from it, play better.
Shedeur doesn't even believe Stefanski's commitment to him. He knows his coach isn't fully in his corner. And when the reporter follows up by asking if it helps that he's not worried about losing his job, Shedeur drops this bomb. "You know what league we in? You could lose your job at any point in time, so you don't play with fear. When you live and play in fear, then you'll never be yourself. So I don't play or live in fear. Whatever situation I'm in, I'm in. Whatever happens, it happens. But I live each moment and try to live each day to the fullest. So never live in worry or fear. You don't play with fear." This is a 23-year-old rookie quarterback who just had the worst game of his NFL career, who's been disrespected by his coaching staff, who was sent onto the field with the wrong plays on his wristband, who got benched during a crucial 2-point conversion the week before, and he's standing there talking about not living in fear. Meanwhile, his head coach won't even answer basic questions about whether he made a mistake and how he handled the quarterback situation. Who's showing more leadership? Who's showing more accountability? Who's showing more maturity? It's not Kevin Stefanski, it's Shedeur Sanders. And when reporters ask Shedeur about his own performance, he takes full accountability. "We got a loss, so that's not good." So that's what sums it up. No excuses about the wristband, no excuses about the offensive line injuries, no excuses about being a rookie, just straight accountability. "We lost, so I didn't do good." That's franchise quarterback mentality. That's the kind of player you build around, not the kind of player you sabotage. So here's my question for you. Does Kevin Stefanski's vague, deflecting answers about the wristband malfunction, combined with his refusal to say whether it was a mistake to not start Shedeur earlier, prove he's been sabotaging this kid all season to protect his own reputation? Is sending your rookie QB onto the field with the wrong plays on his wristband just miscommunication, or is it part of a pattern of setting Shedeur up to fail? And when Shedeur shows more maturity, accountability, and fearlessness than his own head coach, doesn't that prove the Browns have their franchise QB and just need to fire the coach who's holding him back? Drop your thoughts in the comments because Kevin Stefanski just accidentally exposed himself, and Browns fans are done watching their future QB get sabotaged. If you believe Stefanski needs to be fired before he destroys Shedeur's confidence and development, smash that subscribe button. This isn't about one bad game. This is about a coach protecting his job by making sure his rookie QB doesn't succeed too quickly and expose how wrong he was about the entire situation.